The meeting posted?
Yes.
Okay, as your name is called, if you can step up to the lectern up here, and we'll proceed.
Commission will now open the matter of application for special one-day license to sell and dispense alcohol beverages for just beer and wine only, or either one. Heidi Feinstein for Saturday, March 10th, 2007, from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. The event is the Kerouac Birthday Tribute to be held at the Life Alive Urban Oasis and Organic Cafe, 194 Middle Street. Krista Petruzzelio for Friday, May the 4th, 2007, from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. The event is a fundraiser for the Brush Art Gallery Studios at 246 Market Street. Mary Schoen Willett for Saturday, April 28th, 2007, 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. The event is a 10-year celebration for the Holy Family Parish at the Parish Hall at 122 Andrew Street. Richard S. Barrett for Saturday, March 17, 2007, from 2 p.m. to 12 midnight. The event is St. Patrick's Day to be held in a tent enclosed area at the parking lot adjacent to the Kilkenny Pub at 660 Rogers Street. And last is Kenneth Damark for Saturday, March 31st, 2007, from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. The event is the Lowell New Year to be held at the Helena Cultural Center at 41 Broadway.
Okay.
Everybody's here.
Everybody's here. Introduce yourself for the record. Just step the mic on.
Heidi Feinstein, Life Alive.
Thank you.
Krista Petruzzello for the Brush Art Gallery.
Thank you.
Richard Barrett, Kilkenny Pub.
Thank you.
Mary Orlett for the Holy Family Parish.
Thank you.
Kenneth Dimak.
Okay, Kenneth DeMarc. Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Okay, how many of you have been before us before? Put your hand up, okay? Well, there's two that haven't, so two are going to listen, I guess. All right. Richard, the pub on Rogers Street. You got somebody resolved as far as the crossing of the street? I know that had been a problem in the past.
Yeah, last year I ended up stationing a couple of people there, trying to make sure no one parks in the room.
Have you got a policeman there?
I called and they said to call back when I had the license. I have every year. I've had police
Okay.
detail and fire.
All right,
detail.
that's really important there, because I've been by there on St. Patrick's Day, and the traffic it's brutal on Rogers Street anyways,
No, I
okay?
understand.
And we certainly don't want to have St. Patrick's Day marred by a, tragic car accident or anything like that, okay? And you gonna put the tent up outside?
Yes.
All right. Kerouac's birthday party. This is going to be adult beverages only.
Beer and wine.
Okay. Oh, okay. I guess I just wouldn't want my kid to grow up be like Jack Kerouac. I don't know. Maybe silly me. But anyways. Okay. All right, for those of you who have not been in here, you have to understand that if this license is approved, it's your license. It's your personal license. It doesn't belong to the art gallery. It doesn't belong to Holy Family Parish. It doesn't belong to Kilkenny Pub. It doesn't belong to the Hellenic Cultural Center. It belongs to you, and your name is on it. And that means one thing: you are responsible. You are responsible for anything that takes place from that bar that you set up. Now, unfortunately, we live in a time when people, the first thing they want to do is they want to sue. So I strongly advise you to make sure that whatever organization you're representing, or whatever group you're representing, or whatever church or whatever, you have insurance to make sure you cover yourself. Secondly, you are responsible for the bartender. You are responsible for every phase of it, from the time it opens till the time it closes. People, unfortunately, they'll have a few drinks here, especially on St. Patrick's Day events. Then they got to go to the next one, and to the next one, and to the next one. And by the time they hit you, they might have already stopped at 4 or 5 places. But if they get in a car accident or something goes wrong, guess who's going to be responsible? You're gonna be responsible, because you're the last place they had a drink. And when they get stopped, the policeman or judge is gonna say, where were you drinking? And if they say, your place, believe me, we're gonna be hearing from you. Now, we don't say these things to scare you, we say these things to make sure that you understand that it's your license. Because sometimes when we're representing organizations or groups, they tend to put a lot of pressure on us. We want to make a success. We want to raise money for our various charity or whatever it might be. And so therefore, we might kind of be a little lax. Or traditionally what happens in cases like this is someone comes along and, hey, Bill, don't worry about a thing. I'll be your bartender for you. Well, you know, they might just be your bartender for you, but guess what? You're still responsible. So you have to stay there. You have to make sure that you have responsible people, that there are people that are there that are not buying drinks and giving them to their son or their daughter. Oh, get them a sombrero. They're 19 years old. It'll never bother them. But when they fall and get hurt, guess what? They're going to go see their lawyer and say, you know what? She enabled or he enabled me to buy that drink, so I gave it to I'm going to sue them. And in this crazy world, unfortunately, you're going to get sued. So we say that to make sure you thoroughly understand the magnitude. Some people appear before us, they want the license so bad, don't worry about it, let me have it, I'm going to be good, and then after that. So we don't want anybody ever coming back through the door saying, you didn't tell me that. I didn't know that I was going to be the one that they were going to sue. I didn't know they were going to try and take my house away from me. You need to know that. You need to know that. It's a terrible, terrible responsibility because of the type of society we live in. So we hope that if the license is approved, you make $1 million. Because if it weren't for people like you stepping forward and stepping up to the plate and being willing to put in all these extra hours and go into these meetings and giving up your time and your time away from your family, there wouldn't be any charities that would be making money or being able to survive. We need people such as you. But with that comes a certain amount of responsibility. So we want you to thoroughly understand. You have any questions at all? Anything at all, any doubts in your minds whatsoever? Okay, Michael?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion's been made to approve. Motion made and seconded. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. You're all set. I wish you the best of
Good
luck.
luck.
Thank you.
For anyone who is anticipating obtaining their license, I'll be in the office. Mr. Barrett, you may want to stay a little bit.
Yeah, you gotta hang on for the next one. Dickie.
Yeah.
Commission will now take up the application for public amusement for events at the Songus Arena. Is Robert Fode here? Robert Fode?
Is Robert Fode here? Is he in the hallway? No. Okay.
Should we just...
Yeah, put it on
Skip
for the
it.
back.
Get on to the next one.
Yeah.
Commission will now take up the matter of a special events permit for amplified outdoor public entertainment for Richard S. Barrett of Kilkenny Pub, 660 Roger Street, for Saturday, March 17th, 2 p.m. to 12 midnight. The event is St. Patrick's Day, the disc jockey at Kilkenny Pub with the sound system, possibly to include the tent area at the parking lot adjacent to Kilkenny Pub.
Introduce yourself for the record.
Richard Barrett from Kilkenny Pub.
Okay, Richard, I don't know if you saw Tuesday night's council meeting, but they had quite a discussion on the noise level and the noise in the downtown area, and I know you're not directly in the downtown area, but I do know where your pub is, I do know where you are, and I do know you have neighbors, okay?
Yes.
The city hasn't enforced an actual decimal level sound. They expect you to have enough common sense to know what's loud enough. You can only have it so loud. And then people can't hear themselves think anymore or can't carry on a conversation, so there's no sense in having it. So, with that, we haven't had any problems there in the past with your outdoor events. I don't see a problem with it. Commissioner Gary?
No, it's gone, how many years now?
This will be the 6th year.
6 years, and we've never had a complaint or anything in that nature for any event that he's run over there, so
No.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Next on
Good
the
luck.
agenda. Thanks.
Thank you.
See ya.
Okay, take care.
Okay. Commission will now take up the matter of this being a public hearing by the Courtyard Management Corporation, doing business as Courtyard by Marriott, Joseph C. Tutela III, manager, the all-alcoholic beverage hotel licensee at 30 Industrial Ave East for the alteration of premises. It is requested that the approval be granted for the construction within an existing lobby, a market pantry room adjacent to the front desk, which will be approximately 5 feet by 8 feet, for sale by the bottle to the hotel guest alcohol beverages for consumption on the premises only. Mr. Chairman, a legal notice had been published in the local newspaper on Friday, February 23rd, 2007. It was required by the applicant to notify abutters. I'll bring you those papers.
Could you introduce yourself for the record, please?
Yes, my name's
sorry.
Howard. Sorry.
I didn't have my mic on. Introduce yourself for the record.
My name's Howard Miller. I'm an attorney here for the applicant, and with me is Mr. Tutela, who is the manager of the applicant.
Okay. Tell us in your own words, what you propose.
In my own words, we are what we call a long-term residence hotel. Most of our residents are there for a week or more, as distinguished from other hotels. And what we're trying to do, and it's actually a concept that's being put in by Marriott and various other hotels. We've already put in 2 in Massachusetts. We're trying to put in what we call a market area or a pantry, which is typically, and in this case, is a 5 by 8 area off of the front desk, where we would like to sell to our guests only. Although our license is for full alcohol, we really only want to serve beer and wine by the bottle. And one of the things I presented to you is what we call our policies in that regard, that they're quite limited. What you will see is that the product is all under lock and key. It's only removed upon request of a guest who identifies himself. The people who will be handling the liquor or beer and wine are all tip certified. And again,
These will all be people that are staying in the hotel
staying in
also.
the hotel, and it will be for consumption in the hotel. By and large, it'll be in their rooms, but there is also a small area with a fireplace where they might open the bottle and read a book and have a beer or drink a glass of wine.
Now, in this, my wife and I just went down we were down in Atlanta visiting. They had it's called like a, are you going to sell like foods that they can take back and put in a microwave and that type of idea?
I'll let Mr. Tutola speak specifically to that, but they will have snacks, but the exact kind, I don't know if he could talk to that.
No, but that's all I'm interested in is it's
Yes.
going to be it's not going to be just beer and wine.
No.
It's going to be like
Food.
a little mini mart type idea, not huge.
Exactly.
But, now, do you serve any kind of meal? Do you serve a breakfast there, or a restaurant type breakfast?
That's correct, we do.
You do.
Yes, sir. Full breakfast buffet.
Full breakfast and dinner and lunch?
No, sir.
No, just
We're
breakfast.
closed for dinner and lunch.
Okay.
Just breakfast.
Now, can people buy something that they can take to their room and put in a microwave to eat for like supper?
Yes, sir.
They can?
Yep, we have frozen meals and we sell sandwiches.
Okay, that's the same idea as, yeah, okay. Let's open it up, Did we have to, we don't have to do a query on them, did we? No. Okay, let's open it up. Is there anybody to speak in opposition to this license being granted? Anybody here that would like to speak in opposition to this license being granted? Anybody here in opposition? That portion of the hearing is closed. Anybody in here that'd like to speak for it? Anybody would speak in favor of? In favor of? In favor of? That portion of the hearing's closed. Commissioner Gary.
Just a couple questions. You say this is a long-term hotel, meaning the guests are there for approximately a week time or older. Has it always been that when you first?
It's actually a corporate stay hotel, more of a transient hotel.
Would you slide over to the mic just so that?
Yep, it's a corporate stay hotel. Our typical travelers travel Sunday through Thursday.
Okay,
So it's 4 day, average length of stay is 3 to 4 days.
okay. And this is, in this market that you have, you don't have, like, there's not a mini bar up in any of the rooms or anything like that?
No,
There's-
sir.
So this is a market that's gonna just furnish the guest?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you said there was a couple of other locations in Massachusetts that this has begun on? How long has that been going on, and where are they?
Tewksbury and Andover.
Oh, okay.
They've been going on for, it's a period of months, 5 or 6 months, is my recollection. And before we started in, we went to the ABC, and I submitted as part of the package
that,
an
yeah.
opinion from them
Yeah.
saying that
Yeah.
for existing ones, what you needed was a change of description, or really just an inclusion in the license
Yeah.
that said you could serve in this area by the bottle.
Okay. Now, this market, is there a separate register? How is the, you know what I'm saying, is you go into the market, is somebody working that market specifically?
The same register where we would allow the ability for the guests to charge to their rooms. So we have a scanner that we would scan
Okay.
even a bottle of beer, and it
So,
would
so
charge
it's
to the rooms.
through the front desk?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. I didn't anything further.
Okay. Any comments?
Not at all. Best of luck.
Okay. Well, I've seen it done, you know, firsthand. I haven't been to Tewksbury locally, but as I said, I've seen this. In fact, I was quite surprised in one of the hotels we stayed at down south, and they sold beer in a vending machine in the lobby, in a vending machine. And I thought, my God, what are we coming to, you know? But this is a little bit better than beer in a vending machine. But they did, you know, it was right there beside the Coke, you know, all the major brands right in the vending machine. So, and I thought this was a good idea, I really do. You've got a good reputation, obviously. If the police don't know you, we presume you have a good reputation. And I think it can be a good asset to your business, okay?
I do as well. I think, you know, I'm going to make a motion to approve it, subject to, naturally, that you gave me a list of regulations that you guys propose, that you guys follow. So we're going to keep that in our file, too. If you're here in front of us and we see that you haven't followed those, then obviously we'll have to question you on that. But I think it's a good idea. I think it enhances your business, and I think that's why you're here. And I'll make a
Yeah.
motion to approve it.
Okay, I only have one other question. No, that wouldn't apply, so I just thought, I just answered my own. I was just thinking, if somebody was sitting there eating dinner, and they bought a bottle of wine, would they be allowed? But you don't serve dinner, so they would take it back, so that's that. My concern is the control, okay? In Massachusetts, if you're at a restaurant or someplace where they're having a raffle and you win a bottle of wine, they usually don't give it to you because they're smart enough to know you're not to open it at the table, you're to take it home. And, you know, basically, this is the same thing, you're buying it and taking it home, which is the room you're renting, so. Motion's made and seconded, and I will, all in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Okay? This has to go to Boston, right, Ryan? Okay. This has to go into Boston to be approved. So, we will keep a copy of that, and if you have any questions, if you have any questions of us,
No, we're all set.
okay.
Thank you very
Good
much.
enough, take care. Oh, okay. Wait, okay. Nick?
She all set? She can hear you.
Next on the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, Richard Lalim Esquire is legal counsel for Captain Johns. He's asked to appear before you on behalf of Captain Johns and Nicholas Cosumbolis, the manager the all-alcoholic beverage restaurant licensee at 333 Westford Street. He's asking that the commission allow for the licensee to resume operation from 11 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. Sunday to Saturday.
Introduce yourself for the record, please.
Richard Lalim. I represent Captain John's. Nick Cosumbolis is with me today. Obviously, in a short time, I've appeared before you on a number of occasions relative to Captain John's. We come before you because on December 14th, we entered into an agreement with the License Commission to roll back the hours to 11 o'clock. And that was pending the situation that came before you not too long ago, about a month ago, where there was a hearing on the issue of the unfortunate tragedy that occurred to Mr. Peters. And no one is minimizing what happened that night. But as we came before you that evening, the facts kind of spoke for themselves. It was a very unfortunate incident. It was unpreventable from the operation of the bar standpoint. And even, I think it was aired to the satisfaction of the commission that at the precise moment, it was within minutes that 911 was called, and upon their arrival, there was obviously a lot of tension in the air, and Maria Cosumbolis at the time was told by the person who had a CPR background and was tending to the body, said it looked like he had a seizure. So when the police officer arrived, she said he looked like he had a seizure. And while the police officer was talking to her, so within seconds, he overheard that a punch had been thrown. So the whole matter was resolved in a matter of seconds or a minute or two. And I think it put everything into perspective that Captain John's at all times was appropriate with respect to the incident. So for that reason, with the warm weather coming, there are a couple of things going on. First of all, the Red Sox games are very much a part of the operation of a bar. Red Sox baseball takes longer and longer to play. There are games that will indeed get over after 11 o'clock. They're losing ground in terms of functions. People who like to come and book like small birthday parties or whatever like to know that they can stay there till midnight. And so right now their closing time doesn't accommodate that kind of scene, and it's very much important part of their business. And finally, in the upcoming months, the Lowell Nor'easters is a football team, and they are a main sponsor of theirs. And Captain John's is one of their main sponsors. In fact, several years ago, the city issued a proclamation to Captain John's because of the good job they've done in sponsoring the team and bringing it back. Mr. Cosumbolis, along with Al Peer and Bernie Judge, kind of resurrected the team 10 years ago, and so Captain John's is very much a part of their play. And after the game is over, it gets done around 9:30, 9:45. They come back, and obviously, if the football players had less than an hour or so to enjoy themselves, it would really take a lot out of that event, which is an important part of their business. So for all of those reasons, we are asking, and in a spirit to continue to cooperate with the commission, we're not asking to stay open until 2 o'clock. We're asking, there's been no evidence of anything going wrong at Captain John's, no underage drinking, no over drinking. There simply haven't been any violations for a while now, and so we're asking if we could voluntarily keep the hours rolled back by an hour and a half to 12:30, but also to please have an understanding with us that they can stay open till 12:30.
All right.
Just a couple
Go
of
ahead.
questions. Is it still a marketing,
Yes,
marketing the property?
Absolutely. He is absolutely actively still marketing the property.
Okay. I don't have anything for
How long you been marketing the property? I mean,
It's not an easy business to sell, sir, and he's doing the best he can.
All right, we had another situation there prior to the one that's been resolved. There was another situation where another individual, was he killed? Fell outside?
Outside, yeah.
There was a
They didn't
fellow-
get anything on that, though. They're still investigating it, so.
That one didn't come forward?
Nope.
That one is still before, the DA's office is still investigating that. It's an ongoing investigation.
There's still an ongoing,
There's nothing
okay.
for
There's
it.
nothing on that one that we, okay. You know, it's kind of a catch-22, the way I look at it. It's been nice and quiet up in the square. I'm not saying that, you know, all the problems came from Captain John's or whatever, but, you know, just as we have our problems in the downtown area, you're in the middle of a residential area. And, you know, it seems to me that we did an accommodation here to try to give you the opportunity to sell it. I know that, you know, I just don't know that I want to risk going back to 12:30 and getting everybody into a turmoil all over again.
I don't know if I'd so much to go back to 12:30. When it first came about, we took the testimony of the officers, we took the testimonies of the owners, and we took the testimony of the people who were there. And I just found, I kind of agree with what counsel said there, that you know, when it all gets said and done, just based on the police testimony and what had happened with the district attorney's office and with the grand jury, that there really wasn't a level of culpability here that should have been put so much on the bar owner. That being said, but I think it was a recommendation of council that it be 11 o'clock at that time, too.
Yeah.
I can accept the fact that, you know, they want to enhance a business opportunity a little bit. They want to get it a little bit more riper for marketing purposes. And again, my attitude, my situation, or my feeling on it is that I'd roll it up to 12 o'clock and be willing to do that. Again, but it has been quiet there, and it ought to remain quiet. And I said it before that, you know, the cause and boluses have given this community an awful long time and an awful lot over the course of the years. And he's got an existing business up there. It's had some problems, you know. It's a bar. It's going to have its problems, but it's problems that, you know, in this situation, I think that was, you know, things that had happened. It was a really unfortunate event, and I think if we roll them back to 12 o'clock, it gives them a little time to take a breath and assess and evaluate. And again, he's told us that he's marketing the property, and I think that'll help him do that. And that's my feeling on it. So I'll make a motion to roll the hours back to 12 o'clock.
Okay. Kind of makes it tough when you only got two people. I'm going to listen to Michael. I hope I'm not going to regret this. The square's been quiet. As you well know, I drive right through that square, I don't know how many times, day and night, okay?
We share your sentiment entirely.
And, you know, over the years, there's been problems. There were promises made, you know, so many of these things that, you know, that the people in the square have a right to a life, okay? I'm going to second Mike's motion, but I'm going to make sure you thoroughly understand that if the police respond up there for something and the facts find it, I don't want to see you back here. You might as well not bother even showing up, okay? We're putting that trust into you guys. You're saying you can handle this. You've obviously handled it to 11. One of the major problems in Lowell is Lowell closes at 2 o'clock. Everybody else closes. All the surrounding towns close at 1. I think that if you talk to the police department, if you take a look at the majority of the complaints in the city of Lowell, are usually people that don't live in Lowell. They're the people that leave one of the surrounding towns and jump in the car and say, let's shoot down to so-and-so's and grab a couple of drinks before they close. And just as I tried to explain to the people before you, that's the problem, because that's the last place they drink. So people sell their soul, and they sell their license and their reputation for a couple of lousy beers, when the bum that comes in the door buying those 2 beers has spent his $30 or $40 at somebody else's bar. But the wrath of God comes on the person that's here. So, I think you have to understand there's a new sheriff in town. And I think that a lot of the things that have happened and the complaints and everything are a result of things getting done now. And they're going to continue, I hope, to get done and straighten everything. So I'm going to second this motion, and I'm throwing that ball back in your court and saying you guys have to live up to this, because it's not my bar, it's your bar, it's your license. And, okay?
Thank you.
What a sec, yep.
Mr. Chairman, one question. With the rolling back the hours till 12 midnight, is that the liquor license? Is that the bar? Because previously as of December 14th, we were working under 3 different times of no alcohol to be served on the premises after 10:50. Then it was no alcohol to be consumed after 11:10, and then doors to be locked at 11:20. Just for clarification, what does that 12 midnight mean in terms of if the police want to enforce it? Is that alcohol will be served until midnight, or the bar will be closed at midnight? I'm just trying to get clarification of where we are on that perspective.
We had it to serve to midnight.
Okay.
Yeah,
And what time would
So
these?
what time do we want them out of the bar?
12:30.
12:30?
12:30. Okay?
Yep.
So it's no service after 12 o'clock. Okay?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Makes a big difference, thank you.
Thank you.
All right?
All right,
Yep.
Okay?
Thanks.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say yes.
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 good luck.
Huh? Next on the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, Attorney Louis Saab is here on behalf of Doramar LLC, doing business as Rumba's Nightclub. Felix Pino is the manager of record, the all-alcoholic beverage restaurant licensee at 72, 74, 76 Merrimack Street. Attorney Saab has requested that he meet with the board this afternoon to ask the board for reconsideration of an order of revocation of licenses voted on February 22nd, 2007. Those licenses having been revoked for Rumba's Nightclub, the all-alcoholic beverage restaurant license, the common vittler's license, and the license for entertainment, licensed restaurant for live music, disc jockey, and jukebox.
Introduce yourself for the record, please.
Attorney Louis Saab, representing Felix Pino, who does business under the style and name of Doramar LLC, doing business as Rumba's Nightclub. Firstly, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I would like to express my condolences publicly to you on the death of one of your members, who was very respected in our community, for which we'll miss him for many years to come. I want to let it be known that his departure has left me very saddened, since he was a great man from a great family in Lowell.
He certainly was.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, members of the licensing board, Mr. Pina, I'm aware of the fact, has had problems at this particular establishment, and I'm here in a dual capacity in that I own the building where Mr. Pino is the tenant, and he's been there for a few years, and I'm aware of the fact that he had a couple of incidences resulting in initially a suspension and then a curtailment of the hours that he can open. Now, for the record, Mr. Pino is not a well man. He goes into Boston Hospital for the dialysis machine 3 times a week, and he has been attempting to sell this place of business. He has a large investment in that he took over the building when it was vacant, and he spent weeks and months cultivating the interior, wherein it's now a beautiful establishment. And once again, he only is open 3 nights a week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The rest of the time, the facility is closed. Now, this building has been a music center for over 100 years. It was the first church in the city of Lowell. It was a Unitarian church dating back 100 years ago. And it's a beautiful building with a lot of charm and a lot of historic value and a lot of historical significance. In fact, at one point, the Historical Commission made a contribution to restore the beautiful ceilings that are very unique and are a historic item to view if anybody wishes to make an inspection of the facility. Now, it's my understanding, and we've got to understand, Mr. Chairman and members of the License Commission, that we're dealing here with a little different culture. I think, and I say this respectfully to the Spanish-American people, that they're a little laid down in their activities more than overly aggressive, so to speak. I just got back from Cancun, Mexico, where you might be waiting in line and nobody seems to move that quickly, if you know what I mean. It's a relaxed atmosphere. And the infringement here has been being open, maybe not open for business, but they were patrons in the establishment maybe 10 or 15 minutes after 2 o'clock. But under the statute, it's my understanding that they have 1 hour from 2 to 3 for the employees to clean up, for the band to dismantle their instruments. And Mr. Pino says that that's exactly what was happening on the night in question. Now, there are two bouncers.
Just let me interrupt you for a second. The only reason we're here is there's another complaint that we haven't heard on.
Two more.
Well, there's two more
There's
complaints.
two more complaints. Wait, before we get on...
I just want to get
Exactly.
procedurally, we're on the agenda for us to reconsider what happened 2 weeks ago.
Procedurally, right.
But Mike, let's see if we can clean this all up.
Well, Mr. Chairman...
Attorney Saab.
Yep.
I just want to hear on the motion to reconsider.
You're asking us to go to this reconsider. We already have 2 more complaints against Mr. Pino that are going to either be heard our next meeting or the meeting thereafter, or if you choose to waive the time, we can kind of bring these all together and bring this whole thing to a head at once to try to resolve this. Because we're talking about the revocation. What Commissioner Gary's talking about was a meeting that he did not show up for, that he was notified to be here, and which caused the revocation of his license.
May I address that issue?
We had a hearing. We had a hearing.
We had a hearing, which was an accumulation. This isn't the first time that this has happened. This isn't like we're bringing him in and talking to him for the first time. He's had 4 complaints prior to this one. That was the reason why we revoked the license. Because after 4 times, he's just not listening. And now, since then, we have 2 new ones, one on noise and one on being open, with 30-some people sitting there drinking, is not clearing up the band, okay? Now, let's clarify something for the record if we could. Do you want to have those included in this hearing?
No.
No. So therefore, you're going to have him hire you again to come back and represent you.
I don't want to hear. I don't think the city of Lowell is prepared to go forward on that hearing.
Yeah, we did.
It's not scheduled.
We had talked that. Go ahead, Brian.
If they wanted to assume everything to be correct, you could go forward in terms of resolution, but that's not...
Well, here's what I'm thinking, and correct me if I'm wrong. We made a decision, we did a motion, we had a hearing, we sent the proper notice out. We went forward with the public hearing. The owner of the bar wasn't here, our attorney wasn't here. We made a motion, we heard the evidence, we made the motion to revoke it. It was seconded and it was allowed. Notice was sent to the owner of the bar, and now he's here for us to reconsider that motion.
May I be heard on that issue?
And now just hold on a second, so just let me finish it, and then you'll have plenty of time. And so he's here for a motion to reconsider that decision, and that's what I want to hear. My question is, that has been appealed.
For the record, we appeal within the time prescribed by law.
All right, so.
Because I don't think the commission had notification
Well, that's an
that was
appellate issue.
submitted to this board. Now, Mr. Nguyen was on vacation that week.
All right.
And so I personally spoke to a girl by the name of Marty, who answered that phone, and she was a very lovely girl to speak to, and I relayed the message that I had a timeshare in Cancun, Mexico. I could not be present for the date scheduled, and she said, fine, call Mr. Leahy's office, leave a message there, which we did. Mr. Pino was in my office when the discussion centered around a continuous date to March 8th.
What date was that you called, Attorney Saab?
What's that?
What date was that you called?
The call
The 16th of February.
Counselor, the call means nothing.
The
Did you-
16th of
Did you send
February.
in writing a letter requesting that
It was a telephone conversation.
but
But once again, Mr. Nguyen was on vacation, and
that's
I'm not begrudging
you
the
were on
vacation.
vacation, Counselor.
Yes, I was.
Okay, so
All right.
you
So
don't
what I'm
keep
saying
saying
is,
that. You
there
were
was a
on
meeting of the
I
minds.
just want to get what's
that the
factually
case would
here
be-
so I can make a decision of whether to reconsider or not. So 216, you're saying that you made a call to the elections office and the license office, and then you were told to call the law office.
And I did.
All
And I
right.
called for Brian Leahy.
All right. All on the same
And
day.
he was out. I left a message that we would be seeking a postponement. And when I spoke with Marty, and I don't know the woman, I spoke to her, she's a lovely girl to speak to, we agreed on a next meeting date of March 8th. And she said if there was a
Where
problem,
Marty from? Excuse me.
If from the city's perspective, on February 16th, Attorney Saab called the License Commission office. Ryan Nguyen was not present. The call came up to the Law Department. It was answered by Law Department staff. Attorney Saab asked for me. I was out sick. There was a discussion saying that he represented Rumbiz at 76 Merrimack Street and was asking for a 2-week postponement. That next date would be Thursday, the 22nd. However, it was explained to me that Attorney Saab was to will fax over a letter saying, representing Mr. Pina, asking for the continuance, and that would be faxed over forthwith that day. The city did not receive a fax. Unfortunately, I did not receive this message until February 23rd, a day after the hearing before this office. Afterwards, in speaking with Attorney Saab, I told him the city's position. I said, look, if you want to bring it forward for a motion to reconsider, I have no problem saying that you did try to call our office. However, we didn't get a fax, but it is facts that were not known to the commission on the 22nd. And that's the city's perspective as to, there was a call. However, I disagree with, there was a meeting of the minds to agree it, but there was a call from Attorney Saab.
Yeah, but you have nothing in writing to prove anything
Right.
either way.
Well, he did call, but again, I analogized it to, look, if this was Lowell District Court and counsel talked to the DA about getting a new date and the counsel never filed an appearance and neither counsel nor the defendant showed up in court the next day, a default warrant would issue. That a letter should have been sent, it wasn't sent. However, still thought in fairness that information should be brought to the commission.
Okay. Now, when were the notices sent out for the hearing? January 31st, 2007, that's when they get them? Okay.
It was, Commissioner Geary, as Brian has just mentioned, the letter is dated January 31. It was signed for, having been received by certified mail, return receipt February 2nd, for the hearing to be held February 22nd.
All right. Okay. All right, now I just,
well, the bottom line being, we touched base with both the city solicitor's office and we touched base with the License Commission office. They were put on notice. A continuance date was discussed, to it, March 8th. I told Mr. Pino, who was in the office, that we've got a tentative date of March 8th that was going to be confirmed. So he was acting in good faith.
how did you expect it to be confirmed?
I'm sorry?
How did you expect it to be confirmed?
Marty, whoever she is, and once again, she was a lovely person, to take my call and said she would speak to the parties that be. If there was a problem, we'd be notified. We were never notified. So Mr. Pino left knowing that we had tentatively agreed upon a March 8th date. I respectfully request that he not be denied due process of law. We're entitled to a hearing, and to take advantage of a man who has a cultural difference than mainstream America ought not be taken advantage of.
Counselor, excuse me, nobody's taking advantage of this gentleman. We
Well-
followed our protocol. If anybody messed up here, I think if I was representing somebody and it relied on him of making an appearance and I had to send a letter, I would have picked up the phone and said, "Did you get my fax? Hello?"
Were you told to
Did you
send
get my
to send a
fax?
letter to that, were you told to send a letter to
Don't
that?
stand there looking at us like we did something wrong. We didn't get a
I was
letter.
gonna get
You were supposed to send a
reconfirmation. That
letter.
never happened. To make a long
But
story...
did you be told to send a fax?
I don't
to-
understand it. Oh, you know, this is
I
America.
just
We're
asked you a
entitled to a
question.
hearing. We were denied that hearing,
got-
and I respectfully move for reconsideration.
All right, can I ask you a question?
Certainly you may.
Were you told to send a fax to the law office or a response?
I
to
never
law?
had a fax number. Have you ever tried to send a fax to City Hall?
A lot
How
of
long you been
Dynamic
practicing
fax
law? I have. How long you been practicing law in the city? So you didn't you were told to send a fax, but you didn't have the fax number? Is that
I
what you're
had
telling
no
me?
fax number.
All right, but you were told to send a fax.
She was going to reconfirm that March 8th would be acceptable, and I was going to, but the call confirming March 8th was never given to us.
I have the note, and the note says, "Will fax over." All three words are underlined. No one in the law department has the authority to speak on behalf of
The commission.
the commission in terms of
Even
postponing.
Ryan wouldn't have, I mean, you know, we keep saying Ryan's on vacation, but Ryan would have not assumed to set a date without calling
Right,
us.
what
He
the
was
city
on
would have,
vacation, unfortunately.
But that's what I'm trying to tell
Unfortunately.
you, Counselor, so he wouldn't have assumed that anyways.
what the city would have
Mr.
done.
Chairman, the other thing I'd like to
Yeah,
call
we
to your
would never
attention
assume that.
is the fact that there's a young lady here from the Lowell Puerto Rican Cultural Center who would like to address the board relative to a function that they booked at this establishment and sent out hundreds of these cards where they expect to have 350 people. The same night that the Irish are celebrating St. Patrick's Night, they're celebrating Puerto Rican Night at the Lowell Cultural Center, and she'd like to address the board. Her name is Dolores Torres. Could you have her express to you her concerns and the fact that she's already billed
If
us
it's all
all?
part of your, just for a motion to reconsider. Now, just from a procedural thing, again, if we do reconsider, we have to have another hearing.
That's fine, we'll have another hearing.
Well, I mean, that's fine for you, but now we gotta go get from the city's perspective, they gotta get their people there.
Look, I never met this woman before today. She asked me as a courtesy, could I let you folks know she'd like to address her problem?
I don't have a problem, but you gotta listen to me, all right? If we allow a motion to reconsider, I'm gonna have it status quo until we get a hearing date, because the officers have to show up here.
We do have the officer here. The motion to reconsider, you can either, allow it or deny it. If you allow it,
Yeah, go ahead.
you can schedule it for a new hearing. I mean, that would be up to you.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, but Counselor, what bothers, just hear me out for a second, okay? Try to understand where we're coming from, okay? The Alcoholic Beverage Commission sets guidelines on steps that we should take and how we should go about meting out justice, if you will, okay? And they say in those guidelines that when somebody has a problem, whether it's after hours or they serve somebody, we're supposed to give them a warning, and we're supposed to, hold their hand. And we do this for everybody, okay? Because this is America, and we do try to extend to everybody justice. This gentleman had a track record of complaints prior to us taking that vote. That vote wasn't the first time that the police department or the neighbors have come in here and complained. The last time we talked to him, he was going to soundproof that building.
He did.
He didn't do a very good job on it,
Mr. Pino?
because if
wanna
you,
answer his
excuse
question?
me,
Would you tell
Counselor.
He had the
Last-
windows...
Excuse
he
me,
had the windows-
Counselor. Last night, if you watched the city council meeting,
I
They
did.
suggested that maybe you as the landlord might step up to the plate and soundproof the building for him.
Any
That's
request?
what the suggestion
Can
was.
I say this? I'd be happy to comply.
He said, we're going to do this, and we're going to take
He
care of
did.
this
He
noise.
sealed off the windows.
Well,
Mr.
people-
Pino, you want to explain to His Honor what
people,
you did?
people have a right to live in their apartment. And he's only open Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Right.
And as you well know, a lot of folks go home on Friday from work. They've worked all week. They want to relax. Some of these folks work out of town and are living in Lowell. They're paying tax dollars to Lowell. They're spending their real estate dollars in Lowell.
For which they're to be
Okay.
commended. For which they're to be commended.
Exactly. And for which they deserve a quality of life. They deserve. So when all of this started to come, now, you know, I'm not taking these into consideration, but obviously they've come forward, so I know about them. If you saw the council meeting last night, there are people that are pleading for their lives. And I tell you what, if I lived there, I'd quiet the quiet real quick. They'd probably be paying me a visit from the police department, but I'd have a little quiet for a little while. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that people living in an apartment across the alleyway from them, the windows are vibrating in the house, that they have to call the police department and ask them to come. The police department has more important things in the city of Lowell to do than run around enforcing noise ordinances. We got to be respectful of each other. Back to the thing. This fellow has a track record. I don't care if he's from Siberia. I don't care if he's from Cuba. I don't care if he's from Louisiana. I don't care if he's from Alaska. Okay? It has nothing to do with nationality. It has nothing to do. It has to do with respecting your fellow man.
And he has
And we
attempted to do that.
coexist in this society. And this gentleman, for some reason, doesn't seem to comprehend that. So maybe he's from some part of the country where he's isolated and they don't have those. But that's the problem here. That's what the problem is. So when he didn't show for the hearing, we had every reason in the world to cancel that license. We owe no excuses to anybody for canceling that license. He had a track record that led right up to that door. He had been warned. We had rolled his hours back. He had made certain guarantees to us, and we were still getting complaints.
Under the rule of due process, I'd respectfully request we be granted a hearing.
Now, here's, what are the other two matters scheduled for?
But the other two that were not, that he doesn't want to consider.
No,
One
no,
is for
well, let's just,
one's for noise, and
I
one's
know,
for
but when
certain
are we gonna hear them? Are they on the agenda?
Well, we'd vote them today for the next hearing, right?
Here's what I'm proposing to do. Though, you know, I think it was on the council and the owner of the building to send along a fax to the city department confirming this, because it's his obligation to get something in front of these
The other thing I would
commissioners.
point out, Mr. Chairman, members of the panel,
If I
remember-
could finish.
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'll allow the motion to reconsider, but it's going to remain status quo, and we'll put all three hearings on for the next meeting.
Fine.
And now what's the status of that appeal? Obviously, you're going to withdraw the appeal, or?
Well, can I say this? We had to do that to protect our interests, number one.
I'm going to remain status quo. It's going to be closed. It's going to be closed. Understand?
Well,
Gotta
it has
put
been
on.
closed. I might point out, it has been closed. This weekend
It's gonna,
will be
if you
the-
want, my motion to reconsider, the establishment will remain closed. I'll make a motion to allow the reconsideration for March 22nd on all three. It'll be this one and the two that are pending that haven't been heard.
Now, Mr. Geary, may this young lady, who I just met 20 minutes
All right.
ago, may she speak to you about...
On that motion?
No. Well,
On this
can I say
event.
this?
All right.
She had rented that hall
All right.
for a function to take place March 17th.
I'll
where
hear her.
She
We'll-
spent all this money for advertising.
All right.
Maybe you'd like to address the board. Dolores Torres.
All right.
Good afternoon. I'm here on behalf of the Puerto Rican Festival. We did rent the hall from Mr. Pino.
When did you rent the hall, ma'am?
We rented the hall last month, actually prior to the Valentine's. We had it all scheduled out. We had a Valentine's event there, and on Valentine's I booked the date for.
Did you give him a deposit at the time?
No.
You did not give him?
No, I did not give him a deposit.
You don't
No.
have a receipt or anything?
No, I do not have a receipt, but I do know that he also collaborates with our festival, and he does at times gives us a freebie, if I may.
Is
So
this
he
a
does.
charitable function?
This one is a charitable function. I have not given him nothing.
And how many of these flyers did you send out, approximately?
300. And there's larger ones in different establishments. So he does give us, he is one of our source to create income for the Puerto
Mr.
Rican.
Torres, I understand this is scheduled for the same night, St. Patrick's Night?
Yes,
March
we
17th.
would also like to celebrate.
So as the Irish are out celebrating St. Patrick's Day, she will be celebrating Puerto Rican Day.
With you, with all of you.
All right.
If it's
I
allowed.
just kind of noticed on this, they have you from, and it's hard to read, to 2 a.m. They don't have that to 2 a.m. as we stand right here. They rolled back to 11. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This establishes his rollback hours to 11 o'clock as we sit here.
No.
No, okay.
They completed that.
All right, all right. So they're
They're allowed to stay up at 1:45, I understand.
all right. Okay, well, thank you.
Thank
The
you.
unfortunate part is that, you know, I'm going to continue to forward my motion.
Show this lady a little courtesy, please. It's a
Absolutely, I let her speak, didn't I?
terrible
Does she
event.
have anything else to add?
Well, no, if we could grant that day,
Okay.
if we could have a one-day licensing for that particular day, so that we could also celebrate.
You've been there previous
Of
years for the
course.
same function?
No, not for the same functions, but.
I'm going to renew, thank you, ma'am. I'm going to renew my motion to reconsider all matters on March 22nd. The establishment is to remain closed as it is.
But that's subsequent to this hearing date. So are you denying this lady this privilege?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah. I'm going by what I feel has to be done for that establishment.
Well, there are always exceptions to the general rule. This lady has sent out 200 of these flyers to the Spanish-American people of Greater Lowell.
Understood. She explained
Please
it
don't
terrifically.
cancel her event.
She
That's
explained
what
it
you're doing.
terrifically.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's very unfair, and I'd like the record to show that.
Sometimes
Well,
some
thank
people
thank
perceive
you,
unfair.
thank you for hearing me out.
All right, thank you. I'm sorry I couldn't help you.
Mr. Chairman, just for the purpose of the additional complaints,
Yeah.
I believe it's just one additional complaint.
Okay.
In addition to what the board had acted on at the meeting of February the 22nd, on a letter dated February 22nd from the superintendent of police, cites an incident of February 9th. I'm not sure there's anything else
Yeah,
included.
but we had this letter from, see, I consider this
Oh,
as
okay.
much of a
So-
complaint.
okay, so,
We have
I'm sorry.
Have you seen the letter from the condo
No, he-
association?
he has not.
He hasn't, okay. We'll send you a copy of this, see?
I'm
I
sorry.
consider, what folks, you know, we had members of the condo association appear before us. Mr. Pino was here, there were all kinds of promises made, and obviously it didn't take place. The thing and now, you know, and rightfully so, the condo association with representatives meet before the city council, and they're saying to the city council, what can we do? And of course, what I've been saying is, make the police department, make this one do it, make that one. Make everybody do it except the person that should be doing it. The person that's benefiting from it and making the money is the person that should be making sure that the sound and that he's not bothering people and that he's not inconveniencing people. And obviously, this guy just doesn't understand. So, you know, I want
Chairman.
to say publicly so that everybody that watches this program knows that as far as I'm concerned, and I think I can speak with Commissioner Gary, when any of the public writes a letter and signs it and takes the time off at 3 o'clock, which we went through the last meeting at 3 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon, to appear. I take that very seriously.
I do too.
That's a person that cares about his community and cares about his quality of life. He's not turning around saying, oh, you call the police and they're never there. The city never does it. We do things, but you got to come and tell us about them so that we can. So
Mr. Chairman.
based on that, Counselor, I'm going to second Commissioner Gary's motion so that, possibly between now and the next meeting, you and your client, you might want to meet with the condo people and say, this is what we're going to do to soundproof it or do something with it, but this will be heard.
We'll be happy to work in that direction.
Well,
However,
now,
just for the record, Mr. Chairman, may I say one thing?
Yeah.
This has been a music center for 100 years in the city of Lowell. The property is zoned commercial.
Yeah.
And did these people, when they bought these condos
Yeah.
2 years ago,
Yeah.
do their due diligence? Didn't they know they were buying back-to-back to a music
We're
center?
going to have a public hearing on it, Council, so save your
We're
arguments.
prepared to have the public
All right.
hearing.
You're going to get you're going to get a notice, if I'm correct, you're going to be noticed that there's going to be a complaint from the police department, there's going to be a complaint from the condominium association, and there's going to be the complaint that we heard already, giving you another opportunity to speak on for March 22nd. So you all get notification of that, Council, as we did the last time, and your client will get notification, excuse me. And would you like us to CC you a copy as well?
Absolutely.
All right.
Okay.
Do you have a fax?
I do.
All right, why don't you
Do
give
we have
Brian
your
the
number,
number?
Counselor?
978-459-3906.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Want to thank you people for coming in.
Mr. Chairman, on the subject of a condominium association, Peter Padula is now here to speak before you. He is a trustee of the Maulers Lofts Condominium Association at 33 Middle Street. He is concerned about the Rumbers nightclub excessive sound from entertainment Thursday to Saturday from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., which causes residential property owners nearby an unhealthy living situation.
Is he here?
Peter, would you come up and just introduce yourself?
We're going to give you a public hearing on it.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you would, Peter, I think the wise thing to do would be for you to notify the people in the building. Because just as when you went on Market Street, and we had, for years, we had unbelievable amount of problems on Market Street. The commission, we can't go down there and enforce this, okay? People call the police can go down, they can give a complaint, okay? But when it bottom lines, it's the taxpayer. It's the guy that's carrying the load, and you're him, and the other people that live in the building. And nobody should be driven from their home, okay? Nobody. So, I mean, if you want to read this in the record, you can. I have a copy. We're going to have you read it at the next meeting anyways.
Mrs. Feynman's letter? The letter that you
Yes,
have there?
yes,
Yeah. I can read it at the next meeting
That'll be
to save you
fine.
some time.
That'll be
Also,
fine.
I don't think anyone...
And then anybody else that's there that, sometimes it's unfortunate, and what happens is that people, they elect you, I don't know, you're the president?
I'm a trustee of the condo association.
Aren't you lucky?
And probably one of the people that's, we're all affected to one degree or another. Myself,
Sure.
Mrs. Reynolds, and a few others are
Well,
of the highest degree
if you
affected.
can-
Yeah, you're on the
they
back
got-
wall there.
They got 2 weeks. They got, they got 2, I know it's Thursday, and I know it's 3 o'clock.
That's not a
But that's the
problem.
way the meetings have been held for 700 years, long before I ever got here. And you know what? If you can go back and you tell them, look, it's worth you taking the afternoon off
Yes.
to show up.
Sure.
Because then people are going to listen. The city council is going to look, they're going to watch the meeting, and when they see a lot of people, you know what they see? They see a lot of votes. So they listen. And that's what's important, okay?
Okay.
So get them together. I appreciate your time. And
you.
what I said is
Thank
the
you.
truth. I know that I can say that for Michael also. When a citizen writes a complaint and signs it, I consider it just as strong as a police report.
The signing
Absolutely.
is the important part.
The signing part. We get some wacko letters.
Okay, yeah.
But
Well,
the
I
ones
am-
that are signed are all right.
I am here in full body, and
Okay.
I'll be back on the 22nd. So
Thank you.
Thanks for listening.
All right.
And thank you for coming in. Thanks for your time.
Thank
Jesus. You un-American. That was the best part. You un-American. Oh, you're not going to stay? Hey.
Commissioner,
Next on the agenda.
Commission will now take up the matter of the application by the Lowell Used Auto Parts, Inc., doing business as Lowell Used Auto Sales, Ralph J. Tucci Sr., President, for a used car dealer license Class 2, for premises at 1418 Middlesex Street, an open lot consisting of an area approximately 90 feet by 160 feet for storage of motor vehicles. There is an office trailer on the lot, 10 feet by 20 feet. Presently, Mr. Chairman, the licensee is T&B Auto Sales LLC, doing business as T&B Auto Sales. Vito S. Napoli is the manager. And the lot has a maximum number of vehicles per commission at 60.
Introduce yourself for the record.
Ralph Tucci, Sr.
Okay, Ralph.
Mr. Chairman,
Explain this one in layman's terms.
this situation developed in a matter of probably less than a couple of weeks, but I'm sure Mr. Tucci has a story to tell on the matter, but he is presently a Class 3 licensee up on Tanner Street, and it's the corporation Lowell Used Auto Parts, Inc. It's holding a Class 3 license. Mr. Tucci obviously has interest in dealing with the general public on the selling of secondhand motor vehicles. Mr. Napoli, you may recall, late last year had approached the board for a new license for the same lot. He had been business partners with Richard Morris, and he had bought Mr. Morris out, and Mr. Napoli was granted a new license. In less than 2 months, Mr. Napoli has apparently was given an offer, and Mr. Tucci made that offer, and Mr. Napoli has, in a folder before you, has prepared to surrender his license for cancellation. Mr. Tucci has prepared a memorandum of understanding, apparently that being the purchase and sale agreement. He has a lease with the property owner, Paul Breton, and he is now in the process of obtaining a surety bond for $25,000. So this is all something that's transpired in less than several weeks.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit of how you're going to run the operation over there.
Just going to be a used car lot, which it is now. There'll be no junk cars there or damaged cars. Be sellable cars.
Is there an office on that property?
Yes, there is. There's a trailer there, but I rented the building that's in the back, and we're going to be taking the trailer out of there and just using the building in the back where the upholstery guy used to be.
Okay.
And we're going to make 2 offices in there and make it look better and get rid of that trailer.
Okay, yeah, this is Charisma over here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's right beside Charisma.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this one has always been somewhat of a, okay. Charisma doesn't have any cars, is that
No,
correct?
no, they don't, no.
You just have the cars across the front, and you're in the building to the right
Yes.
of Charisma?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. How long you been in the business?
25 years. Well, junkyard. I've been at Tanner Street for 25 years now. Use auto parts and cars and whatnot.
You still live in Pittsfield, New Hampshire?
Yes, I do.
Kind of a commute, huh?
Hour and 10 minutes.
All right.
But I got a 100-acre farm up there, so it's worth going home to.
All right. How many cars can you get on that? There's a limit on the amount of cars you can have in this.
Yeah.
60.
Yeah,
It's set at 60, and
yeah.
it was increased. It was
the one that
originally,
there's a guardrail that runs right.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
originally the
It's
license,
very deceiving.
It's
This
you.
is it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Originally, the license had 35 vehicles.
Yeah.
It wasn't until Mr. Napoli came to you, approached you, and asked that it be
All right.
increased to 60.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now, you're getting rid of this trailer and just gonna go back to this back building?
Yes, yes, yes,
good.
yep.
You're gonna keep the cars across the front like
Yes,
that?
yep.
And then up to the guardrail on the
Yeah,
other
and then probably
side?
sideways too.
Okay. Have we ever had any dealings with this character? No? Okay.
I'm
A
gonna
farmer,
I'm gonna
huh?
make a motion to approve.
Just as long as you don't start bringing any old tractors down there.
How'd you know I have some?
Okay, motion made and seconded, have you got a bond yet? I think so,
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So this will be just, you and your wife are the only corporate officers?
Yes, yes,
Right?
yes.
No partners?
No.
Okay, motion made and seconded, all in favor say yes.
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 Thank you.
Chairman, this situation this is Dolores Coloni. She had been before you several times before.
These car, right?
She's looking to change the office directors and the license that was granted
Yeah.
for USA Auto Sales Inc. at 607 Middlesex Street. Yeah, but the thing is, I didn't see the papers till this afternoon till 12:30. So she's not on the agenda. So you want to break the news? I would ask that this matter continue to be set up for the hearing. I'll make a motion in a second.
Break the news.
Mrs. Corleone? The matter of your application, the office didn't receive it till 12:30 this afternoon.
Yeah.
It was too late for it to be placed on our agenda for this afternoon's meeting. So the matter will be taken up for the next scheduled meeting, which will be March the 22nd.
Okay.
All right.
Can-
Ryan, just take a look at it and have a chance if there's any issue with it, just give her a call, and
I will.
as you do with all
Do
of
you
them,
have
you
a
know?
current- you have a current number, phone number?
I can give you my business card.
Are you
My-
planning on leaving the country anytime in the near future?
Can I tell you what's happening with my life right now? Since
Can you pull the mic down so we can hear you?
Yeah, I'm not that tall.
Yeah.
My mom has cancer, as you see, and right now she was doing the treatment for like 4 months. Now they cannot, because she was having to do the treatment in order to have a surgery. That's something that she has been doing every year. The doctors decide that the surgery is not going to be available, and they're going to have to stop to do the treatments also, because it's not making any good. So that's nothing else they can do to help her. That's why I put Rialdo under my corp. He's not my partner. He's just someone that I trust, because when I put someone, basically like I get a lot, when I have my license, I'm gonna be purchasing in the same auctions that I purchased before, that are AFC and Framingham. You know, I try to apply for some different places. If I get someone that I don't trust, like that person can just after I come back go to the auctions and buy the cars by himself, because people is gonna know him. Rialdo is like a personal friend of mine. He's sitting right there.
Yeah.
He owns a mechanic and auto body. You know, he has down in Everett. My home that I own here in the city of Lowell, it's under my name and his name. I say funny because I'm the owner, but like he got in a financing with me. Even the taxes, I didn't know I had to. I already faxed the paper, okay?
Can I just interject one thing here? For purposes of your application, for the fact that the License Commission had approved the license to U.S. Auto Sales, Inc., you've still yet to file your bond for 25...
I already did.
You have filed the bond?
Yes,
Okay, well, that's something that I have not seen yet.
I filed already. It's,
With the application earlier today?
no, when I filed the bond with the application with Rialdo, it's
You
myself and
understand
Rialdo.
that all licensees to sell secondhand motor vehicles, used car dealers, have to have a bond of $25,000?
Yeah, I already did.
And you have that?
I do.
Do you have a copy of it with you?
You have to
No,
file... you
no,
have-
but I can certainly call
Mr.
you.
Chairman,
Yep.
just Mr. Chairman, with all due respect to the applicant, the licensee, but the fact of the matter is, I cannot issue a license,
Right.
nor can the commission allow for me to issue a license unless there is
The
a bond
bond
filed
is
with the
someplace.
office.
Okay.
So, can I bring the bond and leave the bond with,
Yeah.
when I
You
do
have to
that?
bring the bond into...
Okay, but when I do it, am I gonna be able to get my license, or I still have to wait to come here in 2 weeks? Because I opened an incorporation, and I don't know if you guys gonna have to run Rialdo's background.
Mr. Chairman, apparently, the corporation has been amended for the 3rd time in the past 3 months. And that's why I would ask that this matter be continued to the March 22nd, so that you have a better understanding of, and so that I would be able to explain better, and you would be able to understand better the scenario of what's transpired in the last 2 to 3 months with this particular person and the matter of the application and the license. You were very generous and kind enough to grant the license, and as the corporation, she was the principal, she was the sole officer and director. Since you acted favorably on the application, there was a change in the corporate offices that were filed with the Secretary of State's office. When I made notice of that, and I brought that to your attention by way of fax, when I quickly glanced at the papers that were filed earlier this afternoon, that change had been changed again. So there was a switching of officers and directors in in that particular corporation. So that's why, not having it on the agenda, and for the fact that there has been several changes since you acted favorably, and since the License Commission Office has not received the bond for the corporation to begin with, the issue is really nothing really you can do at this point.
Actually, can I just explain why was the 3 changes? First was just myself, then I told my lawyer to put Rialdo's under the corp, okay? When I came, if I'm not, was last week, was last Thursday, I came to get the business certificate from the city of Lowell. When I did it, so I went to the license commissions officer, then he told me what happened. And when I remember that I told him that was a mistake, because I'm the president. I'm not giving my business to anyone. What I'm doing is I'm going out of the country, and I need to have someone who's gonna be responsible. As a business, if I'm not here, what happens if someone is gonna sue? I'm not saying that we're not gonna do anything wrong, but I'm out of the country on a situation that's it's not like, from Brazil to here, yes, I can come, but let's say if an issue comes about, those people that come here and have a complaint, who gonna come here and represent myself? Someone that it's not in a corporation? Like, what kind of authority this person's gonna have?
All right.
So that's why I think it's important that we kind of take a look at who is in the corporation and put it on for that
Okay.
date. Put it on for that date.
Yeah,
That's-
but I've probably misunderstood, but let's see if I can get this. The first corporate papers you signed,
It's just
you
me.
named yourself president. Mm-hmm. Okay. And you filed those with Boston, is that correct? You sent
Yeah,
those into Boston?
I don't know, because my lawyer does it. I don't know how to do.
Okay.
I tell him.
Well, all right, and, and I'm not trying to give you a hard time.
No, I know.
We're trying to work with you. I mean, I think that you obviously look back on what we've done in the past, and I think that nobody can accuse us of not trying to work with you. Do you have a local lawyer?
Here in the town of Lowell, no. My lawyer is in Woburn.
Where?
Woburn.
Woburn?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, he's not down in Lowell.
Can't you have him come down for get the papers to Ryan and have your lawyer come in for the next meeting? And if he can, because if you file those papers and now you've changed it again, you're gonna have to file them again in Boston, isn't she?
But,
If she changed the name again. You can't, you're going to
I
Brazil
know.
for your mother, right?
yes, but I'll be back.
But you're gonna be back, and then when you come back, you're gonna wanna file papers to put yourself back as president again,
No,
correct?
no.
No.
That's what he's saying, was 3 times changing. One was the first one, the original one. That was
Okay.
only myself. I
Right.
didn't know that I would go
Okay.
through that situation.
Yeah.
Then the second one was when my lawyer did by mistake, because Rialdo, he wasn't supposed to be the president. He was supposed to be the director. That's something that he can represent myself and the secretary. Because I think if he comes to the court with a paper that shows that he is a director or he can go to the
So
auctions.
that second one, they named Rialdo as the director?
No, the second one, he did the president, but was a
Okay.
mistake.
And you didn't want that?
No, I'm
All
the
right, so
president.
now the third
I'm
one's-
the president.
She's the
Okay, now she's
president, and then...
So now, all right, so what we need to know from him, and what Ryan needs to know, okay, do you want to write this down? So we don't put you
yeah.
through all this?
Yeah,
We need to have you bring in a bond
Uh-huh.
to satisfy that requirement. And we need to have you bring in the papers that you're filing in Boston with whomever's being the president and the director
Oh,
and the
I
treasurer.
gave to Ryan.
All right.
12
And you gave it to him at
today.
12:30 today, so
Yeah,
that's
12:30.
why we need to put it on
Now,
for
those are the
next-
same
next
papers that
meeting.
are in Boston.
No, those are the correct ones.
All right, so those have been filed with Boston, or do you
No,
know?
they haven't. That's what she
What's
said.
happening,
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman,
What is
Commissioner
happening?
Gary, is that she has an attorney who is very adept in making changes by way of fax with the Secretary of State's office. There've been 3, 4 changes. Whatever her decision is at the moment in time, the attorney files. You can see it on the website of the Secretary of State's office for corporation database. It's public record.
Okay.
It doesn't take much to get there and to determine that. She's made several changes. When you did grant the license,
Yep.
you approved it where she was the sole officer, director, and shareholder. The day after you did that, there was a change when a gentleman was included as being the officer.
Okay.
He was made to be president, treasurer, and she was to remain as the clerk.
Got it. And then it switched.
Of course, you need to give your consent to that change. They filed that with the Secretary of State's office. That's legit.
Yeah.
That's legitimate. In the meantime, there is no bond yet to be filed for the fact that you've granted the license.
Okay.
I cannot issue the license. Having
Okay.
said that,
Yep.
now, I brought that to your attention. Now, when I received papers early this afternoon,
Yeah.
they've made another switch in the corporation,
All right.
and that was filed maybe this morning.
Making her the president.
She's back as president,
All right.
and the gentleman is
Director.
now
Okay.
serves
All
as
right,
treasurer
that's
and
what she
clerk.
said, there was a- she
So,
wanted- Okay.
these are things that, for purposes of your consideration and approval, need to be addressed. But even if she was to do that and to get your approval for, the point is, the license is yet to be issued.
Yeah.
And it cannot be issued until the bond has been filed with the office. So, for all purposes, I would recommend to the board that you consider this for the matter of the March 22nd meeting.
We have to, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We have to put it on for the 22nd. Now, you gotta, all you guys straight now, you're not gonna make any changes in 2 weeks, don't do it, all right?
No, I'm not.
All right, get the bond to them, and we'll take up the matter on the 22nd.
Okay,
Unfortunately, we can't give you that license until
All
then.
right, but because I know after you guys give the license, you have to send the papers to Boston. Has any way, at least to help me out, to send those papers to Boston? I'll give you the bond. That's the way when I come on 22nd, if everything is all set, it's gonna be faster to get my license.
Do we send this stuff into Boston after we approve it?
No, we don't.
You don't?
Your lawyer, what Mr. Nguyen was just saying is your lawyer can file the corporate papers by fax.
When we
Oh,
give
he
you-
already did.
When we give you your license, if we give you your license on the 22nd,
You got it.
you got it. We don't have to send anything into Boston.
Oh, really?
As long as you don't go changing the 4 or
No, no,
5,
no,
you
no,
know,
no.
make sure it's all up to date. make sure your bond's in here the 22nd. I don't foresee any problems.
Get your bond in
So
before.
if I come here on
But
the
we don't,
20
we issue the license, you don't have to bring anything to Boston. It's not like a liquor license, you know?
Okay,
You just
so on the 22nd, when I come here with my bond, I'll be able to get my license
get the
on the
bond to
same
him
day?
before the 22nd,
Okay.
so we can make sure that everything's in order.
Okay, all right.
If you get it in here before and then there's any snags, he's gonna call you. And we'll try to straighten it out then. Here, you can take your papers.
All right?
Well, then it's just gonna have to be postponed. There's nothing we can do about it.
Why can't she send, if she can send the director in here, the proposed director of the corporation, the new corporation, if she's out of you know what I'm saying? If she's not available the 22nd, if he's available the 20th, he can come in and we can issue it. If everything's in order.
Certainly, if there is, the person who is
And that's
now
why she's
included
putting
in the
them on there.
corporation wants to appear, and she's absent because
Yeah,
of
okay.
family consideration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's.
All right.
your-
And that's why you're putting them on there, okay? All right.
I'll buy my ticket for the 23rd, but like if something happens in my life, I hope nothing happens, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Something always happening in your life, it seems like. All right, 22nd, all right?
Okay,
Get the bond to
Alrighty.
him.
okay,
Oh, and please be out to the wrong stuff, like.
okay.
All right.
Yep.
Mr. Chairman,
Why
we,
don't you make yourself a pencil note if you don't get it by the 20th to call her? And just say, hey, I haven't got the bond. You know, there's probably no sense in you appearing. You know, unless you have it in hand, there's no sense in her coming back in because you keep, you know, it's just going on and on.
the only thing is, Mr. Chairman, what's going on at 607 Middlesex Street is that they're selling cars there. There's cars on the lot, they're being sold, and there's no license there.
Well, then we should send somebody over, shut it down. If we, Captain, can you take care of it? Hey, you can't, no, if there's cars on, there shouldn't be any cars on the lot. It's not a licensed used car lot, period, end of statement.
I think there's issues with the fact that she has not received the bond. My understanding is when you apply for a bond through a surety company, your credit rating is under consideration.
Sure.
And there may be some issues with the financing that make it difficult.
Yeah.
I can't imagine why. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, we have a number of communications, one of which I failed to put on this list before you. As I was preparing to come for the meeting this afternoon, I realized that there's another letter to do with a package store at 412 Lawrence Street. It's Hickey license, the business known as Turcots. And this is a communication that's dated March the 2nd, and it's to do with a alleged sale to a minor.
Yep.
So I would like
Bring
to
'em in.
you include that, but
All
in
right.
terms of setting up for hearings,
Yeah.
as you know, as you've decided, Rumba's nightclub is to
Yeah.
reappear
Yeah.
for the meeting of
All right.
March the 22nd.
Yeah.
We have the chief's communication dated February the 22nd to be added, plus the fax communication that was received by the resident of the Marlowe's Condominium Association. Then there are 7 licensed establishments, restaurants, who have been cited for having sold to a minor at the establishment under a sting operation that was
Yeah.
conducted by the Lowell Police Department. Also, there is a complaint dated March 7th against the Highland Tap,
Here we go.
318 Westford Street, and also a matter that was continued from the meeting of February the 8th, Belvedere Wine Corporation. That is also relates to a sting that was conducted with the packet, again, with the package stores.
I'll sit as a matter of necessity now, so. That's the one I couldn't sit on, but I have to do as a necessity.
Okay.
How do you want to split it up?
You know, they're all I don't know, you want to split it, they're
Yeah.
all pretty much the same.
Yeah, I
You know, if you don't. I'm wondering on this, on this sting, did Captain Demora get a copy of the ABC's guidelines on that?
We did obtain a copy of the ABC guidelines. They are not controlling on the commission. You can view them for whatever weight you want to give them, but they're for ABC investigations conducted by the ABC. You are more than welcome to promulgate your own rules and regs. One of the things the police department and the law department have talked about is promulgating rules and regulations. But again, ultimately, it'll be adopted by,
My only thinking is, when they go on to an appeal, they're gonna take that out, right? The ABCC, you think, and say, all right,
they can say they didn't follow the ABC
CC agenda,
guidelines.
yeah.
However, the law seems pretty clear that those apply to
applicable
the ABC.
Okay.
And other towns use their own, from what I could tell, other towns use their own policies and procedures. Again, the controlling thing is so long as there's a basic tenement of fairness,
Okay.
it's pretty much.
Okay, you know, based on that, would it be possible for our consideration, not for public viewing, but just our consideration, to get a picture of the person you used? Absolutely. So we'd be able to take a look. I mean, we don't need to publicize it or anything. I'd just like to see so that.
You would need to take it into evidence. You could, you would take it in at the hearing. You would not disclose it for, if they want to use that person again, I mean, there are reasons
Right.
to exempt it, but you would need to take it into hearing and you'd need to show it to whoever is representing the entities. They'd have a right to see it as well from a.
Well, they've already met the person.
allegedly.
Well, allegedly, right. They're going to say they didn't. But no, but they would be entitled to see
Hello?
they'd be entitled
Yeah.
to see the photograph as well.
I just, because I think in the sense of fairness that we should just, get an idea of what the person looked like and have an idea of,
One of the guidelines would be to take a picture of the individual. Again, if it's something the commission wants, we can promulgate guidelines for your consideration if
Yeah.
that's something that you want.
I have no problem with the other guidelines. I think the police department does a great job. I think it's something that's been needed to be done for a long time. Obviously, and I'm not faulting the police department, but obviously we've put people to sleep. They've been lax. For this many people to get caught, there's a certain complacency out there. It has to be. So I think that to do this, and get people, paying attention once again, like, hello, we're here. But I would just myself personally, I think Commissioner Gary also would feel that, I'd like, just for my own information, to take a look at the picture and be able to say, he didn't look 12 years old, okay? And if they want to see it, they want to see it. We're not going to make an issue, but I don't think we need to show that to the general public in the case,
Right.
in the event
Well,
they want to use it again.
That it would
Okay?
be exempt as a public record.
So if that would be all right, I would appreciate that, all right?
So what do you want to
Do
do?
you want to do you think there's a necessity to change the guidelines from anything that you've seen?
No, I mean,
I think they
do
have
what
a
they
pretty
do
good
now.
format. You pretty much follow that, don't you?
Exactly.
They don't drink and they don't go in and they don't, they only have the money you give them and, okay.
I want to bring them up.
The other thing that, last week, I, kind of thinking about the meeting, just to, go one street, you were talking about the IDs, and, I mean, there was a lot of driver's licenses, And, I just don't know that, it would seem to me that there's got to be something that can be done about that. If you don't have the right, if the bartender doesn't have the right to take a false ID, or the package store owner doesn't have the right to take a false ID,
Well, they can take it, they just
They
can't
can take them,
possess
they
it.
have to forward it to the registry.
Yeah.
That's all.
They can take it, but they can't hold it.
Right.
Oh,
So what you
okay,
told
so
them
they
is
have to turn them over to the
I mean, you
registry.
think, look at the guidelines that the police have to follow for an OUI arrest. They're very strict about what actually happens to that
Yeah.
license.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think the important thing is we're getting all the licensees on board as to, be cognizant of this. We're watching for it to make it a safer city,
Yeah.
a much more enjoyable city to come to for entertainment. And I think we're going through that period right now. It's sometimes, like you said, it hasn't happened in so many years
Yeah.
that now we're going to be consistent with it. Not that we're going to do this type of stings every day or every other 3 or 4 months. It's just a key to keep everybody up sharp.
I kind of think that you're right, get the message out there to the tavern owners that, hey, you really got to watch and take care of this and be wary of it and be extremely wary of it because, if they can't, if there's an element of not being able to control it down here, then we're going to go back to where the towns are and we're going to roll them back, I think it's in their best interest to be as diligent as they possibly can because that's going to be money
And I think
down the
most
long
of them
run for
are, once they realize, and, if you look at some of the people that have come before the commission, they haven't been here, in years.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
I mean, that's for a reason too, because we typically, if I found out throughout the years, if they're serving underage, we're gonna know about it anyways.
Yeah.
By somebody being
you
arrested in
can't-
a
right.
location.
arrested
Because
reports.
So
not only
I
that,
would-
you know yourself, they're out, the kids, the moment they find a place they can get served, I mean, they're out telling every other kid in the city.
Exactly.
Where they got served, how they bought it, what guy was the bartender, what shirt he was wearing, you know, everything about him. So, I mean, and you can't seem to make some of these people understand that. And that's the same as what Commissioner Gary's saying about, you know, the 1 o'clock deal. You know, you can't seem to make some of them understand that, you know, nobody should be allowed in your bar room or your tavern after 1 o'clock. Nobody. If they're there, okay, fine, but nobody else come, because you know all they're doing is getting the drunks out of one of the towns, coming in to grab a last few beers, and for the sake of those few lousy beers, they get themselves in trouble.
Exactly.
And the police reports that we've had, it seems to me, in reading most of them lately, most of the people that are causing the problem are not from Lowell. They're not residents of Lowell. They're people that are coming into Lowell at the end of the night after they got their beer muscle up, you know, and gonna, you know, raise Cain, and that's what, so, no, I think that you're doing, I think you guys are doing a great, I mean, it's something that we've argued here at this commission before. It seemed that, you know, we got so many now that we put some off, but, you know, before, it would be months before we'd hear a complaint. And I think the sooner you hear it, the better it is, because it shows the gravity of it, and it reminds that person right away. So,
How do you want to split it up?
we would
Gotta take the
definitely want to
Rumbus.
take Rumbus.
Rumbus, and we'll
definitely.
take
That's a must.
Palermo, right? Palermo.
Get the Highland Tap in here, because, you know, he just bought that place. Yeah, he hasn't even been there, what,
That's a
two
separate,
months?
okay, 3, and let's take that third one and take 3 from the
And
stand.
take 3 out of the top, yeah.
Three top ones.
Okay? Is that all right?
So we'll take Rumbus, we'll take Highland Tap, we'll take Palermo, Belvedere Wine, and we'll take Fury's, Gauthier, and Mango Tango. That sound right?
And Turcotte's is, well, as I just mentioned, is not on your list.
Put that on. That's another liquor store
That's a
one?
package store.
Yeah, put that on.
Put it on.
For the 22nd.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's enough.
So, let's see if I have it correct. Rumbas for the 22nd.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Turcotte's for the 22nd.
Right.
yeah.
Fury's, Gauthier, Corp, and Mango Tango for the 22nd.
Yeah.
Yep. And,
Highland Tap.
Highland
for the
Tap,
22nd.
yeah.
And Belvedere Wine for the 22nd.
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
So all you have left then is Bridge, Europa, Monorama, and White Eagle for
Yep.
the 12th of
Yeah,
April.
but we'll probably have others by then. You know.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
April
for the next
12th would
one.
be
That's
for
the
the
next one. Yep,
Yep.
yeah.
Anything else? Anything you got, Counselor? Anything, Captain?
Send Louis a fax.
Yeah,
Update him on the new
Make
numbers.
sure, yeah, get him his fax number. Yeah. Sir, you have something that you've been sitting there so patiently? Would you like a liquor license? Come on up.
Motion to adjourn.
Paying attention to liquor license, because I'm other people in the downtown, and I would have testified against doing anything, opening Rumbas back up. That's been a real problem.
Okay, well, we appreciate you showing, and hopefully you'll be at the next one. We got a motion to adjourn. Motion made and seconded. We're coming home, Benjamin.